Welcome to another StereoPhoto Maker tutorial. This time we're going to talk about cropping. There are a lot of reasons you might want to crop. I've put a link in the description to a PowerPoint by George Themelis talking about many of the ins and outs of cropping, but I'll just show you a few ways that Stereo Maker allows you to do it. So let's open an image. So this shot has a lot of extraneous stuff in it. I might want to make it, crop tighter on the subjects, which are the trains. So this is the crop button here. If I just press it, I will get whatever free cropping options were set up to begin with. So let's see what those options are currently set to by pressing the down arrow here. So you get your choice. We're going to look at the free cropping options, but there's also several fixed size cropping options available and an option for custom cropping. So let's just go to free cropping, and it's currently set to keep the aspect ratio. A lot of the time, you don't necessarily want to do this, like if you're cropping down just to improve a composition, and you don't really care what size or aspect ratio the final result is, or you're cropping to get rid of extraneous stuff on the side or the bottom or something that violates the window. So I'm going to, for the time being, uncheck that. We'll come back to that and click OK. So I am now got the beginning of cropping L's, if you will, and I can click the mouse to define the upper left corner and drag, and you can see I can move that lower right corner anywhere I want, regardless of what aspect ratio that amounts to. I pick my lower right corner and then release the mouse. Now, in a lot of photo editing programs, you would here have the option to like drag one side or the other up and or sideways. You don't have that option here. So the best thing is to get it right the first time. And if you can't, it's not a big deal. You can get rid of the crop by just hitting escape, which I'm about to do now. So let's try that again. So I've clicked to the left, I've dragged down to the lower right, I've released, and now I have this four-way arrow, and I can use that by holding down the mouse button. I can move that around. I can't change the size of it, but I can move it around. And as soon as I release the mouse button, it does the crop. So there we've done it. We've done a crop entirely freely, no defined aspect ratio. So let's edit and undo. Um, there are other options in the free cropping. You could keep the aspect ratio. So for example, if I know I have a projector that or a laptop screen or something that's got a 16:9 aspect ratio, I could specify that down here. The X is 16 and the Y is 9. Click OK. And now you'll see that I choose the upper left corner by clicking and I holding it down, holding the mouse button down. And as I drag, I can't just put that corner anywhere. Everywhere I drag it, the aspect ratio is fixed to be 16:9. So whatever size I choose, it's going to follow that aspect ratio. So I've got the lower right corner defined. I release the mouse button. I've got my four-way. I could shift this a little left to right. And as soon as I release the mouse button from doing that, the crop is done. So there's also this option to do custom cropping where you specify a number of pixels to define the cropping rectangle. You can do this separately with the fixed cropping options, but this allows you to do it kind of on the fly without going through the menus. I'll show you those menus later. Um, and I can click OK on this, and then I automatically get a outline that matches exactly that number of dots. So that was 2000 by 2000. So as you can see, it's square and it takes up the resolution of the photo in here, the 4010 is um, horizontal, 2286 is vertical, and you can see 2000 is most of 2286. It takes up most of the vertical space. So I can hold the mouse button down and use that four-way arrow to move it where I want it, release the mouse button, and it does the crop. So that's the custom cropping option. Now, there are also fixed size cropping options. If you want to, if the software you're using to make a slideshow, for example, isn't going to automatically resize things to fit your projector, you may want to specify the exact dimensions that you want in the end. So we can change those fixed cropping options by going to Edit, all the way down here to Preferences, and there is a tab in here called Crop. And there are 5 cropping sizes specified here. Yours will probably look a little different. I have played with these over the years. But for example, 1920 by 1080, a common size for projectors, I have that set as the 5th one. And so I'm going to click OK. And now I can go to this down arrow and go to fixed size cropping 5. And just like the custom cropping, I've got a window or a square rectangle, I guess, that follows that aspect ratio. I can hold the mouse button down and move it where I want it. And as soon as I release the mouse button, it does the crop. Now, back to the free cropping options, I should point out, so before we had clicked keep aspect ratio and I'd filled in 16:9, there are some canned aspect ratios that it provides you with, which fill in those numbers for the X and Y below. And these are mostly for cropping to particular stereo card formats. I'll probably do another video on how to print stereo cards with StereoPhoto Maker. But for now, let's just see some of those. Classic stereo card is a little bit narrower than it is high, 21 to 23. Holmes card, for some reason, those are very large numbers built in. I'm not sure why a simpler ratio wasn't chosen. There's a 6 by 13 format, which is 1:1. Cabinet card format, which is 4:5. Custom card format, which is in this case 133 to 146, but you can change that to whatever fits the custom card you want. So those are the cropping options. Thanks for watching.